Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Elizabeth Akintunde, and it's nice to have you on board.
Okay. And in the studios today, we have a renowned public speaker, a passionate advocate for childhood abuse prevention, and someone who has used her powerful personal stories to inspire countless of young women to embrace healing, reclaim their voices, and transform pain into purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me all the way from the United States of America, join me in welcoming Joniqua The Genie.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining. It's truly an honor to have you here, ma'am. So before we dive into the conversation, for those that are just seeing you for the first time, I would want you to briefly introduce yourself, ma'am.
My name is Joniqua. I am the youngest girl of six children, but eight children, including my father's children. I suffered from child abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, and it caused me to struggle a lot in my childhood and teenage years. And I overcame that through my relationship with God. And now I work as a self-published author, a child abuse advocate, child abuse prevention advocate, public speaker, and I work with the children to be what I wish I had as a young child. My first book is actually dedicated to Black girls all over the world. It teaches them to love their skin tone and to love the type of hair they have, because I did not love myself when I was a child as much as I should have.
Through your LinkedIn profile, I checked your story and it's truly, truly emotional. Seeing what you've gone through and seeing how abused it has been throughout the years in your childhood. So I would like to ask this question. For someone who has been abused before, what does healing actually looks like?
Healing. So healing looks like forgiving them. Healing looks like not getting angry when you talk about it. Healing looks like not retaliating or trying to hurt the very people that hurt you the most in this world. Healing also looks like being kind to others that may not understand your story. Healing looks like not giving people the same pain that gave you, because now I work with children. So I have an opportunity either to treat these children how I would treat or treat them better. I choose to treat them better. That's what healing looks like. And healing also looks like a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. You just don't wake up and you're not mad anymore. You just don't wake up and you're healed. You just don't wake up and you're this amazing person. Heal takes intention, it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes God, a relationship with God.
Has there been any moments where you feel like this healing actually shaped you? It's making you what you did not want to be. Is there any moment you felt like that?
Yes, and those are the moments that people don't see. In my relationship, this is the relationship that I am in now with my boyfriend is the first healthy relationship I've ever had. One of the first healthy relationships I've ever had in my life. So sometimes I treat him like he's everybody else when he isn't, because that is what abuse does to the brain. So much abuse, you start to judge everybody and think everybody's the same. Also, sometimes I can be extremely sensitive. As soon as you hurt me a little bit, I already just cut you off or don't talk to you because I'm scared you're going to hurt me like the people of the past. So I kind of suffer from a lot of PTSD, whereas things will be going so well and I'm not used to things going well, so I'll start getting scared. It's just like when someone goes to the war or they go to the military for so long and they're fighting every day, and then people, the war is over, they go back home with their family, everybody think things return to normal, but they forget that that soldier, the person that was in war, his mind doesn't stop. So his mind is still prepared for battle, even when there is no battle, because that is what war and trauma does to the brain. So, right. So I would say that abuse did make me a beautiful person. However, there are still some things that I have to work through, like being easily triggered, um, being scared to be hurt. Sometimes I am extremely scared that someone's going to hurt me. So I quickly end the relationship. I quickly stop talking to the person because I am so afraid of being hurt the way that I was so much from my past. I'm overprotective of myself now.
Thanks so very much for that response. I really appreciate that. For the fact that any moment you feel like this is not you and this is not supposed to be what is meant to be happening to you, this is what you do not want. So definitely you shift yourself away from it immediately.
I'm excited. We're excited. So the my next question is that we have survivors that they are using their pain to educate other people, to try to bring people to healing. But in a situation of a lady whereby she's just the thing just happened, the incident is fresh, and then she's just going through the healing process. But there's always this internal pressure and external pressure. And what do I mean by external pressure? People will tell her that, oh, the pain is only valuable if it produces something. That is, people will start pressurizing her without asking, without caring to know whether she has fully healed. So with that, she gets pressured, and then the purpose becomes performative. There's this pressure to quickly give back to the pop, to the world. She suddenly feels like, oh, she owes the world something, and then instead of her healing to be her first priority, then due to the external pressure of, oh, you have to do this, you have to give back, then she'll abandon the healing path. So for a person like that, how can she transform her pain into purpose without feeling pressured?
Well, so the first thing I said was taking your time. You're not going to wake up and be healed. You know what I'm saying? Prioritize her own mental health above what people think. Because, if you think about it, when people are abused, they're already thinking about everybody else. That's why they don't leave a situation. That's why they don't run away. That's why they don't defend themselves, because they're already putting their own feelings last. So giving into the pressures, that's still a form of abuse. Pressuring someone to tell their story and just push past it, that still is abuse. So I think that for someone struggling with that, I think that they should take their time. They should tell their story on their own terms. But first, they have to focus on themselves. They have to focus on their mental health. Find out who they are. Again, take as much time as they need. The biggest thing that I would say, just make sure you just don't be like your abusers. And I tell people when I'm telling my story, I'm doing all of this, I'm sharing my testimony, you don't have to heal like me. You can heal in privacy. Everybody doesn't need to know your story if you don't feel comfortable with that. But as long as you know that what happened to you wasn't supposed to happen, you did not deserve it, and you're far away from your abusers. But I do agree that there is a lot of pressure, because like with me, some people, not you guys, but some people want to take advantage of my story. They don't even care how I'm doing. You know what I mean? They don't try to treat me like I'm a human being. They just want to take advantage of what I've gone through. So that's pressure to consistently tell what happened to me. I want to get to a stage one day where I don't talk about it, at all. And where I talk about it once a year. I don't feel like that now, you know what I'm saying? I love to tell my story, but again, that's pressure too that I deal with. And so again, but I put myself first. If I don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to talk about it. Nobody can make me talk about it. Do it on your own terms. You have to advocate for yourself. So like me, I advocate for other little girls, for other children. But how can I advocate for them when I don't even advocate for myself? You have to protect yourself first. If you're going to protect anybody, you have to love yourself first before you can love anybody. And so healing starts first with self-love. You have to love yourself more than what people expect from you, more than what people want from you.
Okay, wow, thank you. That was profound. So one of the emphasis you made was that do what works for you. Like, okay, focus on self-healing first. Do what works for you. Don't say, oh, because this person decided to share a story. If you're not comfortable with sharing it, you don't need to share it. There's no pressure. Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. So another question I have is that society has a way of defining everything. They have a way of classifying everything. They have a way of saying, oh, this person is good, this person is bad. when they see people exhibit certain attitudes, they kind of just conclude that, oh, this person is a bad person. And then they don't even care to know that, oh, what could have been the cause. And they don't even know that some of those people, they are even suffering from the childhood abuse that they suffered from. So as a result, they are exhibiting some certain attitudes, and then society will just conclude that, oh, this person is a bad person. So for the sake of our listeners that will be picking one or two from this podcast, for them to be less judgmental, to be able to recognize those that need help, and instead of them to criticize them, they should endeavor to help them to heal. So can you enlighten us on how childhood abuse can affect someone in adulthood? Yes, so that whenever people see those signs, they'll be able to pick on.
Okay, so for me, I can use me for an example. I was a very angry teenager. People see me now, I'm 27. But when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I had a temper. I still kind of have a temper. I just keep it under better control now. And so people would quickly judge me and say, oh, she's crazy. That's what they would call me. They would call me crazy. And so you just never know what someone's going through. I was also hypersexual. I didn't sleep with a lot of men, but when I did have one boyfriend, I always pushed sex because I was sexually assaulted as a child, because I was exposed to certain things when I was 5 years old. And people would probably judge and say, oh, she's fast with her boyfriend, but they didn't understand why. They didn't ask why. Why does this child feel like sex means love? You know? Another thing, I was exposed to pornography. I was exposed to a lot of explicit images when I was a child. So I suffer from porn addiction when I was very, very young. And my siblings judged me. They gossiped about me. They made fun of me. They laughed at me. But again, I was exposed to it. I didn't go searching for it. I saw things that I shouldn't have saw as a child, and it caused me to act a certain way as a teenager and as an older child. So again, let's not be quick to judge children. I do feel when you get to a certain age, your healing is your responsibility. So as a teenager, I was walking around angry, but I cannot walk around angry as an adult, because now I'm responsible for how I carry myself as a young woman. I'm a woman now. However, when I was I was like 20, 21, 22, I was 15, 16, 17. I had a big mouth. I used to curse a lot. And anytime someone hurt me just a little bit, I would explode, because I dealt with so much bullying and child abuse for so long. I told myself that I would never let no one do that to me again. And so now here I am. Someone says just a little bit something stupid to me, and I'm exploding, and I'm hurting people because I am still hurt on the inside. So when you have someone that's younger and they're acting like that, ask them why. Ask them about their childhood. And you don't have to do that right then and there. But again, like judging someone, especially children, you also have girls that like a lot of attention, require a lot of attention. You have to find out why. You have to really find out, why does this girl need so much attention? Is she not getting attention at home? Why is this girl so sexual so young? Did someone sexually abuse her when she was younger? Why is this girl so angry? Are people angry to her in her own home? Why is she loud all the time? Does she not have a voice in her home? Because a lot of times that's the reason why.
Wow, thank you very much, ma. That was profound. That was profound. So to our listeners, don't be quick to judge. Always try to understand people. So let's all be kind to people. It is not all this classification. It is not necessary at all.
So much. It's been an insightful session so far. Thank you for your responses. And I must say, I for one am encouraged by your boldness or bravery to come out to share your story. This is one of the things that I would always, talk to people about. Once you can come out to share, once you get to the position where you can share your story, you are not just being a better version of yourself or showing that you have grown past all the experiences, but you are also giving life and hope into someone that is in a similar situation. So I celebrate your bravery and I say thank you so much for this opportunity again. So just to carry on from what other my the host and the other co-host has said, I would just like to ask two more questions. And the first one is that I would like to ask that for people, or what would you say to someone who is still carrying shame for something that has happened to them as a child, especially if it was never their fault? You mentioned a lot of things that you've had to go through. Someone, I started by saying I celebrate your bravery. So for someone that is still carrying that shame, still feeling guilty, still feeling like they can't amount to anything, what do you have to say to that kind of person to come out of it, or to be a better, to break through or break free from things like that from their past?
So I carried a lot of shame. I'm 27. The first time I told my story, I was like publicly, was last year. So for 26 years, or for 20 years, I was in shame. But the minute that I told my story, I literally set myself free. That I put the shame back on the abuser. So the people that are still living in shame, you have nothing to be ashamed for. Someone's actions towards you don't define who you are. It defines who they are. Also, your past, your abuse does not define you. And if you allow it to define you, let it define you as a powerful person. Because if you can hear this video now, you are a survivor. You're not a victim. So the shame is what protects abusers. Abusers love shame, but shame is just a fake emotion. It's like what's a good example? Fear is a fake emotion because it's pointless. There is no point to it. Worry is a fake emotion. So they put you in this fake world of that, oh, it's your fault or you should be ashamed, when an abuser should be ashamed. You should be ashamed that you putting your hands on someone. You should be ashamed of being a bully. You should be ashamed that you're so evil and vile on the inside that you need to break someone else down to feel powerful. You have nothing to be ashamed for. And abusers typically pick beautiful people, empathy, people that have a lot of empathy, because I have a lot of empathy. So people take advantage of that. And they use that to their advantage, because an evil person who is an abuser, they're not going to pick an evil person, because the evil person is going to retaliate. They're going to pick people who are soft on the inside. They're going to pick people who have a big heart. And there's nothing wrong with that. So and sometimes you have to make a choice, because it's not going to be easy. You're not going to wake up one day and not be ashamed. You have to choose. I'm not going to be ashamed of this anymore. I'm not going to give my past power anymore. I'm not going to fear my abuser anymore, because it's a mental trap. It's a trap in your mind. And then by me speaking out, I have opened up so many doors of opportunities. I used to work I've been working two jobs since I was 16 years old. I've always worked for someone else. But when I started to tell my truth from stuff that I carried from when I was 5 years old, it opened up so many doors for me. When I started to really walk in a way that I was healing the 5-year-old girl and healing the 6-year-old Joniqua, and thinking about other girls who are going through the same thing, it opened up doors for me. It's about to be a year where I have not worked for anyone but myself, because I've opened my mouth and I told the truth. The truth will literally set you free. You cannot manipulate the truth. You cannot change the truth. You cannot lie about the truth. The truth will set you free. Also, I have a relationship with God. So I lean on him for my strength. I lean on him for my comfort. I lean on him for my guidance. And so I give it to him. And when you give things to him, he gives you strength. He gives you a way out when you didn't see a way out. I remember very vividly being 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, thinking about the things that were happening to me when I was a kid. I would wake up and see my older brother on top of me. I would see my mother and father fight in front of me. And I knew I used to go to school and pray nobody knew because I was ashamed. And when you think about it, when I think about it now that I'm 27, I'm not even thinking about my actions. I'm ashamed of someone else's actions. So that's how you see you're carrying the shame of your abuser. That's not even your burden to bear. You're picking up your own, someone else's burdens and problems. So that is what I would like to tell someone who is still living with shame. Shame is a way to trick the victim. Shame is a way to manipulate the victim. Shame is a way to silence the victim. It's to trick the victim into not stepping into their power and setting themselves free.
Wow, that was a lot. I was almost moved to tears, like hearing a lot of these things and seeing a survivor, seeing a fighter, seeing the transformation in your life. It's such joy. And I mean, for people out there that would want to know what to do, I believe that the Lord has been said. Shame was or fear would just is just a way of tricking you from the truth. The truth will set you free, like she said. Seek peace in yourself, find peace in yourself, and you're sure going to be free if you desire to make the determination and that bold decision. So thank you so much. So the last question I have is, okay, now what practical steps can survivors take daily to rebuild their self-worth, their trust, their confidence, or emotional resilience? That being said, that okay, for survivors who are trying to heal, what are some simple practical steps they can take daily to rebuild their self-worth, learn to trust again? Because I mean, it's so for someone that has gone through a lot of abuse would find it very difficult to even confide in anyone, to trust anyone again. I mean, and for someone, what are the steps they can take to become emotionally stronger? Do you understand? So I don't know if you could share with us the practical steps. I know you mentioned truth, speak up, but what other things before it gets to that point where the person makes that decision, that bold step? Because I know a lot of things will be put in line, a lot of things will be considered. For instance, you talked about the fact that you didn't want people to know the shame and the stigma it would bring. People will make jest of you and all of that. So for someone in that kind of mess, how does he or she take what are the steps they can take to become balanced, just like the revolution that you had? What are things they can do to become emotionally stronger and become a better version of themselves, being able to tell their story as well?
Okay, so the first step you need to take is developing a genuine relationship with God. That's from what worked with me. That's the first step. The second step is you need to have a relationship with yourself, meaning you need to talk to yourself and you need to talk positivity over yourself. Meaning you need to have something in here, internal dialogue is what they would call it. Have a conversation with yourself. It could be in your head or out loud. I used to talk to myself out loud. You literally have to say, this is not my fault. And you may have to say it every day because what you're doing is reprogramming your brain. I had to reprogram my brain because for years, I'm believing lies about me. For years, I'm believing that this is my fault. I believed that it was my fault. I believed that I was ugly. I believed that I was unworthy. I believed that I wasn't worthy of respect and protection and love. So you have to rewire the way you think. How do you do that? You have to talk to yourself every day. You have to watch your thoughts. When you have a thought that you don't want to have, like let's say, oh, Joniqua, you're ugly. Oh, Joniqua, you're lying. You have to talk to yourself. You have to be like, no, that's not true. And then after a while, you will see a change in your own thought pattern. You will see a change in the way you see yourself. Also, when you look in the mirror on your worst days, even if you feel ugly, say, I am beautiful. Say, I am worthy. There is power in your tongue. There is power in the stuff that you say. People do not understand it. The most powerful thing on earth is your mind. The second most powerful thing on earth is your mouth. You have to rewire the way you see the world and also trusting again. I used to say, before I even knew it or believed, I used to say, You are not going to change who I am. You're not going to make me give up on mankind. I was in an abusive relationship. This guy, he cheated on me. He beat me up. He tried to break me. And the last time I saw him, I said, "You're not going to ruin me for my husband." Because I knew I would be married one day. I knew there were good men out there that existed. So I used to say that when people used to hurt me, I say, "You're not going to change who I am." And you know what you're doing? You're keeping your power, because you're not giving away your power to pain, to people that hurt you. You keep your power. I kept my power regardless of all the people that wanted to break me down. That's a choice. I could have easily went out there and been nasty to people, hurt people. I said, "I know what you're doing. You're trying to break me. You're trying to change me. You want me to be like you. So you can say, 'Hey, everybody, she's just like me. She's no victim.'" You keep your power. And even when you don't believe it, even when you've never saw yourself as this confident, bold, courageous, healed person, you still, it starts in your mind. You have to believe that you can be healed before you can be healed. That's just like saying you're going to be rich, but you don't believe it. All of your beliefs, your reality, it starts here first, and then it starts here. You have to speak things over yourself, whether you believe it or not. And you have to keep speaking it over yourself, regardless of what you go through. So that is what I did. I was homeless. I didn't have a home. I used to sleep everywhere, on the streets, in hotels, in my car. I didn't have that. But I still believed that one day I would have a home. Now I'm in my first home. And I used to speak it. I used to say, "You know what? When I get my apartment, it's going to be nice." And people thought I was crazy. And I let them think I was crazy. I'm pretty sure they don't think I'm crazy now. But I knew I wasn't crazy because I had a relationship with God and I had a relationship with myself. You have to have a relationship with yourself. Again, how are you going to treat anybody well if you don't treat yourself well? You have to watch how you talk about yourself when you're alone. You have to watch about how you think about yourself. So the first step is having a healthy relationship with God. You have to have a relationship with someone bigger than you. And God is bigger than my problems. God is bigger than and more powerful than the people that hurt me. God is more powerful than my pain. God is more powerful than anything I would face on God's green earth. Then I had a relationship with myself. You have to learn yourself. You have to learn to like yourself. You have to learn to love yourself. And again, you're not going to wake up and do it. This is a daily process of looking in the mirror and saying, "You know what? I'm pretty." Whatever you see in that mirror, it doesn't matter. You look at that reflection and you say, "I'm pretty." It don't matter how tall, short, how long your hair is, how short your hair is, how light your skin is, how dark your skin is. Whatever you see when you look in that mirror, you say, "I am beautiful." You say, "I am powerful." You say, "I am worthy." It doesn't matter. So that is how you build your confidence, and you have to do it every day. It's just like building muscle in the gym. You're not going to build muscle if you go to the gym one time out the month, one time out the week. You build muscle when you go to the gym 5 times out the week, 4 times out the week. So you need to be striving every day. When you look at your reflection, when you look at you, regardless of what you look like, you need to speak positivity. You need to, however you want to see yourself, it starts in your mind. It starts with what you say, and then your life will go that way. Because people see me and they think I've always had it together. No, I had this together. And then my life started to go a certain way. I had to keep this together for 2 to 3 years when my life was crumbling, because I opened up my mouth and told the truth. Because I escaped my abusers. I ran away from my abusers with nothing. And all I had was my mind and my mouth. I said, "Okay, well, you can take everything, but you're not taking my mind. You're not going to convince me to talk nasty about myself." So your thoughts become your reality. What you say has power. That's the biggest power you have. Not what you wear, not what you drive, not your job. Your mind and what comes out of your mouth is the most powerful thing you have.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. This is very, it's been very insightful. We've had to learn a lot of things, know the power that our mind has. We should all know, for everyone watching, for everyone listening, Please let us ensure that whatever you fill your heart to, it is what will definitely come out of it. I also learned and picked one thing, that the most powerful tool is your mind, is your mouth. What you say about yourself. So when it doesn't align with who you know that you are, do not receive it. Speak positively to yourself. Call yourself who you really are. You're a victor. You're amazing. So when anyone or when the world comes to say you are this, you are that, you can always go back and talk to yourself. And believe me, it's coming from someone that I've also had a lot of experiences where I've had to go to the mirror and say, you know what, Elizabeth, you can do this. You are bold, you are confident and courageous. And by the time I get back out, I'm back. In fact, I do a lot of things that I go back to say, wow, I didn't know I could do that. So, when you speak to yourself, there's that power, there's that confidence that comes from within that it cannot be matched even by 1,000 words that any other person can tell you. So take advantage of that power that you have. It's your mind and your mouth. So please, let's know that we have more than we even think that we know. Thank you so much for this session. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for inspiring us and inspiring others. It's been an amazing ride. So at this point, I'll just hand over to the host for any final touches and events.
Thank you so very much, my amazing host, and thanks to our guest speaker. I really do appreciate your presence. In fact, it is more than a million to me right now because I did not expect it. We've done this episode before, something similar to this episode, from victim to survivor. In fact, I wasn't really serious about the topic. I just said, okay, Ms. Onayemi, you're a law student, you can talk about this thing because you said you're an advocate for the right of girl child. Okay, can you talk about this topic? And then, boom, we just sent it to, we just sent some content. I developed some content, then posted it on LinkedIn, and you were the first person that reacted to the videos. I was like, let me know this person. Who is this person? When I checked their profile, it actually moved me a lot. To the extent of reading her story and everything, all she said, I've already seen it in her story before. I've read it and I was so very moved. And in fact, it is still it is still making me emotional right now. And I'm so proud of you that you are here to share it with us and you are here to inspire others, to inspire victims that is seeing themselves in this situation, that it is not the end of the world. It is not the end of the, you don't have to care about if someone is isolating you or not. You don't have to care about what's from outside, because you yourself, you are a great, you have a great future and you can do it. Because if you know that you can, and all the things that she said, it didn't actually happen. It comes from my mind. It comes from when she actually asked herself if healing is for her. And it is, yes, it is a positive response. So I want you to ask yourself, if this healing is for you, definitely you have survived. Yes, you have listened to our stories, you have listened to our lessons, you have listened to all the practical things, the practical aspect that she has done in the process of healing, and how she has embraced healing throughout all the words from outside, throughout people calling her mad and everything she actually encountered and conquered, which you can do also. I believe that you are watching this video, you can learn a lot from this. I don't know what to say again. I just want to thank the guest speaker for doing a lot for us on this episode. Thank you so very much. I don't know if you have anything to say to anybody out there or the audience.
This will say God bless, and it wasn't all me. It was the God within me. It was the God that I serve. So I cannot really take full credit. I literally just depended on something bigger than me, and that was God. And He hears you. If you have a genuine heart, He hears you. So that's who I give all the credit to, because that's literally what I went to every time.
You said that with God, all things are possible, and with you also, you can do it. So, we've come to the end of this episode, How to Heal from Childhood Abuse, from Pain to Purpose. I hope you are now transforming your pain to purpose. I hope you can tell yourself that you can practice all those things that has been written down. You are jotting all the important points that you can use to heal, because you can do it. The recorded video will be uploaded on the Speak With Our podcast. And remember to subscribe, like, and share the video. Bye for now.